All right, so good to have you join us, and we trust that you had a great time when those were looked at. And in case you want to read more, get to our social media handle at CRBC online underscore and get those papers and read up for yourself. Now, having our feature presentation, we have the immediate past Commissioner, Ministry of Rural Development here in Cross River State, Honorable Edem Okokon Effiong, in the studio this evening. Good evening, sir. So good to have you join us.
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening, Cross River State.
I remember the last time we had this conversation was about 4 to 5 months ago.
Precisely.
Yeah, that was build up to the elections. Now, let's look at our focus today would be Cross River yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Now, the Cross River of yesterday will narrow it down to when we started our nascent democracy in 1999 till now. Now let's look at Cross River yesterday. You've been around for a whole lot of while. Though at some point you had a long stay in Lagos, but you never lost touch with Cross River way back from 1999. So let's talk to us. Look at a review of Cross River State back in the time of Donald Duke, the time of Imoke, and the time of Ayade.
Yeah, that's a very long one. Once again, good evening, Cross River. That's a very long one. We have to look at the evolutionary trend of Cross River from 1999 to date. But basically, when we are looking at those evolutionary trends, we have to look at it from the social, political, and economic perspective. Because Cross River has taken a lot of changes, has gone through a lot of changes in terms of social structure, in terms of political structure, in terms of economic structure. I mean, those days before the advent of His Excellency, Mr. Donald Duke, basically we all used to understood clearly that Cross River was a purely civil service state. But with the emergence of His Excellency, Mr. Donald Duke, we started defining the path. Looking at that, where we have comparative advantage, area of tourism, area of agriculture, where we have comparative advantage over oil. And the goal was, the path were clear. So we started defining those paths, while also adding up infrastructural development. So His Excellency, Mr. Donald Duke took us through the path of agricultural revolution, then tourism revolution, which also brought about bringing our culture, that which we have also combined into the fore. It became a global issue. It became a global conversation that everybody everywhere was now discussing about Cross River State tradition, Cross River State culture, and this also culminated in what we have as the Carnival today. And the Carnival is not a new thing. It's a thing that has been going on in Brazil. For those of us who grew up in Lagos, Carnival is. We also have a small thing we call Fanti, which is the same Carnival, same Brazilian style Carnival, but in Lagos Island, small part of Lagos Island. To be more precise, the Brazilian quarters of Lagos Island. But His Excellency Mr. Donald brought it to Calabar and made it a global conversation, made it a global issue. And the whole world, including the Brazilian, had to look at it again. Is this what we are practicing? Because it brought a lot of vibe, a lot of panache, a lot of strength, a lot of cavalier into it. And it became a global discussion. And that became something that also defined how we were looked at by the global world. So Cross River State was brought, we evolved and trajectory ourselves into the global map. So we can see the path there, while also having infrastructural development. Places like the Budugato Ranch was even a facelift and brought also to global observation. The whole world wanted to look at it, living in the sky. They had a package, they had a brand for everything we did. Tinapa was the same thing. And so that marked the beginning or the trajectory of Cross River State into the global conversation space. So from there, we had moved on to His Excellency, Senator Leah Limoke, who also looked at the Carnival, retain it, also look at the rural development, which became the core anchor of his administration. So we started seeing rural roads springing up in virtually all the entire 18 local governments, and that began to bring some of us closer to where we were farther away. There were a lot of people who were not quite used to moving to Obudu from Calabar. But it became so short that we can easily move to Obudu. Whether you want to pass through, you come to Old Obudu Road, or you want to pass through the conventional Old Obudu Road, Yahe Road. I mean, from Bakaliki, you can see it link up. So it opened up the space for us. The rural road opened up space, so we began looking at Cross River State from our own eye. So what we clearly now began to understand how those things that bind us together. So for His Excellency Senator Lee Aliboki, opening up rural road was core, while we still anchor with the carnival. So you can see that there's a relationship from the starting point to the middle. And come to His Excellency Senator Professor Benedict Ayadi. He came with a lot of energy, a lot of cavalier outside retaining the carnival, which he also came in, which also added some vibes, some energy, some new colors to it, bringing about that bikers ride, car showcasing of old vintage cars. Yeah. So that was a new dimension to carnival. So it opened up the space. So there were so many other things came on board. So it shows you, if you look at the evolution of Cross River from 1999, so there's always one new thing added in every administration. Every administration, nobody can completely write off every administration, because everybody came and added their own bits. With the emergence of His Excellency, the Senator Bassey Idiabutu, for me, I expect a total conglomeration of all this put together, because I like it's not going to abandon any project. Any former project will not be abandoned. For me, that was a great hope. Because when you look at the evolution of places like Ebonyi State, no matter how each of the governors do, they continued with the ones the other governors started. Essentially, if you look at Akwa Ibom, His Excellency Dr. Victor Attah laid the blueprint, and everybody comes in and take a part of the blueprint and the so it looks as if Akwa Ibom is blowing up. When His Excellency Attah was there, Uyo was like the focal point. When His Excellency Akwa Ibom was there, he got a axis. The other axis became a focal point. Now, with the last governor, if you look at the Iket axis, so you see, there's a group, there's an organic group, as if it's just growing like that. So for His Excellency, Senator Bassey Idiabutu, I like the idea that it's not going to abandon anything. Everything has been started will continue. And recently, you can to confirm that he's a man of his word. I just talked about the airport, and he said he's going to source for money and complete it. For me, as an individual, that is an affirmation that will not depart from our growth trajectory. We will continue as we started in 1999 and continue to. So for us, we are hoping that as His Excellency move around canvassing for investors, that every other moribund part of the project, like the Tinapa, for example, that will find investors who can invest in it and bring in new ideas, new colors to it, and even our carnival. We expect it to be a lot more bigger this year, because we know that a lot of colors are going, a lot of vibes, energy, cavalier is going to be brought to the table, and we expect Cross River State to continue to try to move on that part of that growth trajectory. And no matter what anybody may say, as a state, we are not done. We are not fed badly. We are not fed badly. I know that so many people talk about insecurity. Insecurity is an issue that's common with the entire country. No state is insulated from it. I even think that sometimes ours is overblown, because when you look at the statistics, you know that Cross River State fall among the most peaceful states in this country. So that's in brief, that's the evolution of Cross River from 1999 up to date.
Right. Let me take you back to when it was yesterday. I remember I've been around political space since 1999. I remember several times being a presiding officer and all of that. Now, let's look at the political consciousness from 1999 till date. How has it really been? Now, we understood that. Remember when we used to have the campaigns where it would always end in violence, way back in the early APP and all of that. Let's look at political consciousness then and how it has evolved to this state.
That's what I'm saying. As a state, we are also not socially sleeping. There is constant social re-engineering from maybe from the INEC educational policy, but also as individuals. Because I've seen situations where we have used that which we are used to, which is our core culture and our tradition, to moderate our lifestyle, our political lifestyle. I'll give you a classical example. If you go to Northern Cross River, I was in Suffolk sometimes when we had to go through councillors. I realized that the community were actively involved. They were actively involved who becomes their councillor. And they will tell you that, no, you don't take part in community activities, we don't want you. And at the end of the day, you realize that they become the barometer upon which the two parties then will determine who they pick to represent them. So there has been a great revolution. There has been a great political re-engineering. And we have seen that. So that has also come to a very great extent the violence that we used to experience in those days. If you watch this last election, yeah, there were little skirmishes here and there, but there was also great understanding. And I like the understanding that we are also defining now. Now today is the turn of the South. God being on our side, once Excellency Senator Basile to finish his 8 years tenure, it will go to the Central. If this understanding is established, that means there will be no justification for rancor, for any form of violence at all in trying to perpetuate what should not be. Because once we finish our 8 years, we should support whoever you desire to support in the Central, let it be limited to the Central. So for me, this is political evolution, this is political maturation, and the way we have seen the management of victory sometimes. There's no that sense of triumphalism where people just wake up and say we conquer. That no. You see, realize that even the man who is victorious, manage it with calmness, with a clear understanding that the other man that lost too also had reason. He had his own conviction. He had his own reason to wanting to be the leader or governor or councillor. So he manages a victory in a manner that it does not offend the other person. So that's maturity. We are beginning to display political maturity, and as we move on, as we evolve, we'll see more of this. And as we move on in this, there will be less violence, clear understanding, also use that tradition to moderate the way we look at issues.
Let's look at the issue of insecurity, because in your last bit one response, you made mention of insecurity. And we are still looking at the yesterday of Cross River State, our political space. Do we have more insecurity as compared to what we have today?
Yes, I'll say yes, because we have also opened up our space, our economic space, our social space for other people to come in, other ideas to come in. Because before now, the issue of kidnapping was not part of us. But we also have our children who had gone to places like River State, gone to other places, and they've seen this, and they also brought this to play. And don't also forget that we have an issue here. Like sometimes when I discuss this, people don't normally like it. The Southern Cross River State, particularly the 5 local governments of the core South here, excluding Akampa and Biase, we have a lot of our brothers from Akwa Ibom who are here. Ordinarily, a typical everyman is conservative in his approach. It's not mercantilist in nature. It's a person who is contented. But realize that the same approach, the same culture may not apply to our brothers at the Akwa Ibom end. They are mercantilist in nature. Money determines to a great extent who is senior or who is not senior. So while for us here, we rely heavily on our tradition to moderate the way we look at our social space. The other people more of money, who has got more money. So this has also come to what do I call it, to begin to change our cultural perspective. The way we look at the economy has started changing. So some of these vices has also set in because everybody wants to be like the other person. And this is where I said the deficiency comes in, because when we look at it critically, I'll give you several examples again. If you move into Biase, for example, let me give you an example. You move into Ikun as a visitor. The whole community knows you, and because we know everybody. As we move in, we know you. But the same thing may not necessarily apply. You can easily move into Akwa Ibom, nobody cares. So, for us too, the custodian of our traditional institutions, of our cultural institutions, are not also living up to their expectations. Even a lot of us, I take an example of Akwa Ibom, a lot of us who comes from Akwa Ibom lives in Calabar. We hardly go, sometimes when you stand at NEPA, I see the rate people, every Friday, see the rate civil servants will be moving to their village up north. You'll be shocked, you'll be amazed. They still have to attend family meetings, grade meetings, almost every weekend. But you find somebody who comes from a place, like I take an example in my own village in Etongbe, who has lived all his life in Calabar South. So what? He doesn't even know, he has never gone to his village before. So he's not even in tune with the visitors that have come in to invade the place, that has come in to hold the tradition hostage. Both the tradition and the people who preside, because all of them are held hostage. So they are not subjected to the whims and caprices of these bad elements, and this is what we have. So this has affected insecurity, using our know your neighbor, know your brother approach. to manage insecurity. We have not been able to do that. We've not been able to do that at all because a lot of us don't really care. So we leave the area we should have governed, we leave it as an ungoverned space. So street visitors, strangers, bad element people will take over those spaces and they begin to govern those areas for us. And that's basically what we are having here. Today, we've seen some few instances of kidnapping some few days ago. And when I was looking at the part, they said, oh, the man was kidnapped here, then the next thing boat was moving on the water. Boat were moving on which water? The water basically bounced Akpabuyo. So for us, we also need, apart from the people, the security men, the security architecture need to live. Well, they have their problems, their own challenges. But the truth of the matter is that we clearly need to understand our environment, because 70% of the security men or the security architecture don't clearly understand the environment. And I've always taken them on this. From Kasemko, the old Kasemko, to Esquire, I can give you that you'll be shocked that our security men will not know the number of fishing camps within that line. You'll be shocked. And with the deployment of a cheaper technology now, I said, what does it cost us to have a DJI drones in the sky? Doesn't DJI drone $2,000? And these are also recommended to His Excellency. You can put camera on it and you can actually see people moving from each creek in and out. So you know where to intervene. You know, you can actually see. You can see this. So in real time, you can intervene in real time. So for issue of security, it's something we can manage. But there must be a collaboration between the people themselves. Because I'll give you my example. As I was growing up in Lagos, sometimes there's something that amazes me. It's only here I see in Lagos when we hear only, that's thief. It's everybody open the door and bring that. This one with match, this one with stick, this one with where is the thief? Where is the thief? So the reverse is what I have here. It's like anytime they say, they say lock the door, there's thief coming. It's two direct opposite. When you lock the door, the thief will ultimately meet you in the house now. So, but since warfare or even security is a game of number, if you open your own door, I open my own door, 10 of us open, and then the other robbers are 3 or 4. If they see 10 people, even if they have a gun, they'll think twice. They'll think twice. So there is also need for us to talk to ourselves. As a people, we fear too much. We fear too much. We fear too much. Everybody want to die. Then sometimes I said that if you don't die early, how do you take over heaven? Because for you to get to heaven, you must first learn how to die.
Very well.
Yeah, so why don't we come out as people, confront this? And that's why we have that insecurity growing, because you find boys with just small things like Oka, maybe just one round, and 10 of us will come, 10 of us will just lock our doors. So they can reign, they feel good, they can take over the entire place. So there has to be a collaboration between the people, the security architecture, modernization of our security architecture, and then bringing in a lot of cutting-edge technology which are cheap now in the market. The reason why, if you have CCTV in our houses, in order to protect our house, why can't we mount CCTV along the major roads? Then there's also one thing that I clearly don't understand. Every time we blame government. If you are moving along a particular street, I'll put on my generator. There's light in my own compound. What stops you from putting just one light on top of my fence to illuminate the streets? By the time you put just one light point in your fence, the other one put in his own fence, that street is illuminated. We don't wait for government to put your light first. As you start your own generator, that one point will not kill us. You see, there's something that's why I thought that we need to restructure our thinking system. We need to restructure our social environment, re-engineer it completely, so that we can begin to define new paths in managing this security. Because once the place is illuminated, it will be difficult. We can see a man some distance away, then you can see what the man is planning. So it becomes a lot more easier for us to nip this in the bud. But no. So these are things that we really need to sit down against. The convention that for another day, that we'll sit down and look at it critically.
Very well. Now, let me take up one more about the yesterday in our political space before we move on to today. Now, one thing we see is money politics. So when we say Cross River yesterday, which was the call to selecting a leader, was it popularity or money politics?
I just cited an example to which still works in the north. Relatively, at least I've lived in almost every village in the north. Relatively, they still work with people that they know. They still work with the people that they know. There are a lot of people don't have money at all, yet they emerge. Let's leave the era of imposition. That's another area we really need to talk about at another time. If you allow the people that the people trust to emerge, because for me, there's no profit in imposing anybody. Because, for example, if I want to run as a chairman, if I come as a chairman and I emerge as a chairman, I must always be loyal to the governor. It's just normal. Because I'm not loyal to the governor will cost me to be removed through legal means. So I'm comparing, and the laws are clear. You have the law that makes you collaborate with the government. You have the law that makes you take care of your own community. You don't do it. The government has the right to. And so we don't need to impose anybody. Let the right person, let the most popular person, let the people accept emerge from that among the people. Then when you allow this to happen, every time we bring an unpopular person, we must back it up with money. While the popular person may not need money. He may not need money. No matter how I'll give you one small example. In the 2015 senatorial election, while our candidates, our aspirants here, were spending as much as 500,000 naira per delegate, except for Senate. The same Senate seat in the Central was about 27,000 naira. In the North was 11,000 naira. So you ask me, where do we draw a comparison? The same senator going to earn the same money. Then there must be something fundamentally wrong with one section. So for me, I always employ our political leaders, stop imposition. Let the people pick among themselves the person that they value, the person they know they can reach. Today we put our councillors in place, put our House of Assembly in place, put our House of Reps in place. They can't even open their door. Once the election is won, you lock your gate. I've never seen it's not there. Just not normal. You are representative of the people. You find yourself in Abuja today. You find your house, or you go to look for your house already. It's representing. You must cater for your well-being at that spot. At that point, you are a visitor. That is like your ambassador there. But he won't ask you, how did you come? Have you eaten? No, it's not there. You have taken humanity completely away from politics. What is aggrandizement? Prebendal politics. We don't care. The reason why we go there again, we don't really care. Like I always tell everybody that comes, and this is the honest truth I say. Even as a civil servant, you are merely opportunity. Both of us are here. It's just opportunity that has made us to strengthen over this system. It's not as if it's our right. For every 1 naira, some people say, I work so hard for my money. Who says that? Who wants the money? It's the people's money. Whether as councillor or as House of Reps, people gave you a mandate to superintend over their commonwealth. You are supposed to use that commonwealth for their common good. And even when I was growing up, as a civil servant, when I had my money, I know that if I had 100 naira, I must still take like 80 naira for myself. So if I don't give out a part of it, I don't feel good. Because it's people's money. They must also have a feel of it. Because I have an opportunity to manage a small session, doesn't mean that it's my own money. I didn't print that money. It's the commonwealth of the people. So we must have this behind our mind. That as a governor, as a president, the social contract theory, the ordinary people gives you their mandate. So that in exchange, you can provide them with this. They keep to their own part agreement. Why are you not keeping to your own agreement? You rather want to get to UK, all the money to UK, US, take out, do everything. Already you have not fulfilled that part of the contract with you. These are common things that we need to teach ourselves. These are common things I also expect our religious institution to teach our people, because we realize that every bad leader, be it a governor, be it a councillor, still report back to the church and they still give him something on the high table. So people tell him the truth that you are not just doing well, you are not keeping your own part of the agreement. So my dear brother, imposition is one thing that will always allow money to flourish. When we allow the people determine who they want, then there will be little money in the system. Then there will be proper accountability. I'll give you an example. If I'm my own small enclave as a political leader, I've never asked anybody. I don't ask anybody for 1 kobo. If you want to contest anything, you come to Conservative. I don't ask you for 1 naira. I simply ask you, what program have you had? Do you have for the people? And I'm in tune with your program. I say, okay, take this. I support you with this. I've never asked anybody for money. I've never done it. I'd rather put my own money into this. When you believe in something, when you believe in God, the white people say, put your money where your mouth is. When you believe in a cause, you must also support that cause. Because I do this so that tomorrow I can tell you, I can tell you straight to your face. I didn't collect the exam for you, so you are not just doing well. I can say it to your face. These are the examples, these are things that we need to put up as people.
Absolutely. Okay, now let's look at the today. And about 120 days ago, His Excellency Senator Prince Basutu was sworn in as the governor of Cross River State. Let's look at the man, Prince Utu, in today's Cross River State.
For those of us who I'm associated with Prince Utu.
Okay, sorry, I think I have something that we have to go on a very short break. Let's take a very short break. We'll be back. Stay with us.
Let your heart take you on a flight, mount its wings and soar across the river. It knows which way to go. It knows the way to go. Let it take you on a ride to cherish forever. Close your eyes and imagine paradise, a haven filled with warmth and peace of mind. The hills and waterfalls, the clear blue sky. It's a destination that your heart will find. Let your heart take you. Destination Cross River, the nation's paradise. Welcome home.
All right, so good to have you back. Indeed, we are still here talking about Cross River State, yes, today and tomorrow. And I still have my guest in the house, Honorable Edem Okoko-Nefium, the immediate past Commissioner for Rural Development. So, sir, back to the question I asked before we went on that break. The man, Prince Utu, talking of today's Cross River State.
Yeah, like I said earlier, I've had my relationship with Prince Utu spanning over 15 years now. From where he is today, it's not different from the man he was yesterday. Always calm, humble, respectful. Still continue to exhibit that. And I also like the calmness with which he's cultivating or assembling all the old projects, putting them together, cataloging them, seeing how they can be completed before announcing any giant serious project. Yeah, in the last economic summit they had, we saw his blueprint clearly laid out. If you watch some of those blueprints, the past administration's projects were most of them were there, plus the additional ones. My prayer is for his cabinet to help him drive this dream, because as a man, he cannot do it alone. And like I kept telling people, you can't start now to criticize him. Like I said, he's assembling everything, because the funds are not really there. So you must put everything on that scale of preference. Which one do I take on first? Which one do I handle first? There are roads to be managed. There are water to be managed, street light to be managed. There's the refuse to be managed. The cleanliness of the total social reorganization of the entire state. So all this has to be taken. And then if you look at Cross River State, we are talking about the place that's about almost 21 to 22,000 square kilometer. It's like they put the entire southeast together, the entire 5 states of the southeast. Cross River State is still bigger than that. So we are looking at how do you manage this kind of large space. And our settlement pattern is so thinly spread across, that everybody must be touched one way or the other. I remember when I took a walk, sometimes from Teba Church to Mpot. Sometimes I wonder that our governors are trying. Because from Teba Church, even driving from MCC to Teba Church will take you several hours. For those who come from our Akankwa, they understand. That's almost like 80 kilometers. moving towards 80-something kilometers. Then you stop and not start taking a walk from Tebacho to Nkpor. For me, as a non-indigenous or a non-native, it took me 10.5 hours to walk to Nkpor. Because there's no road. You have to pass through the forest reserve. There was no road. And yet you find you still find the people who give vaccine, polio vaccine, reaching this end. So you begin to wonder the magic of governance, of government. So sometimes you have sympathy when you look at how big our state is. So for Prince Otu, I know him that he will definitely do his very best. This is what he was designed to be. This is the reason why he was created for me. Because the issue of the state is what we are constantly been discussing. I know his passion, I know the zeal he has. Yeah, he may be constrained by finance, but I can assure Cosvera that at the fullness of time, the man will definitely give his very best to this state. So let us continue to pray for him, for those of us who go to church, for the rest of us who can also, like with social thinkers or social critics, continue to support him with good criticism, not bad criticism. He's human. He's not perfect. None of us are perfect. So before we begin to criticize, we must also judge ourselves. If we are put on that seat, what will you do? I've been a former commissioner, so I know where the shoe, I know how it looks like. So, I can assure us very well that His Excellency, Senator Prince Bassey II will do very, very well. Very well in completing the former project, very well in executing new ones. All I'm praying that people should support him. And if you have ever met His Excellency, the issue of imposition, it's not part of him. He's a man who enjoys. Go and let the people bring you out. I've always known this. When I wanted to run for House of Assembly, he told me, then I used to be chapter secretary. He said, Secretary, just go and follow the process. Emerge from it, and then come back to me. Yeah, as close as I thought I was, to him that he was going to put pressure on this. No. Let the people decide. And that is a beautiful Democrat. That's a Democrat per excellence. And I'm sure for those people who are looking at that this man will impose, will do this, that is not Prince Otu that I know.
Great. Okay, now real quick, there's a paper that I read this before I had you live on the show. It talked about 22 governors, hiring more than 5,000 aides. Now, in the last dispensation, there was this political culture of food on the table where we had over 6,000 appointees. Now, today's Cross River State, His Excellency has said that he would not, go that direction. Now, how can he change the mindset of Cross Riverians that have been, for 8 years, the new oak which was food on the table? How can this mindset be changed? And look, you mustn't be an appointee. You can also be gainfully employed, you can be empowered, but everybody must not be an appointee. Looking at the economy of the state.
I think you may not totally be correct there, sir. It's still going to continue with what you call it food on the table. It's an evolution. Now we are evolving from that food on the table to where you actually have to create the food on the table. People will still be employed. Listen to His Excellency. I said some will go for contract, some will be giving grant to start business, some he has segmented it. It therefore still means that government will still have to spend to improve the social environment. And the former governor too was not wrong. When you look at the Kantian philosophy, when an economy is in a state of distress, and the people are low in terms of wage, it is the duty of the government to spend to revamp the economy. So the former governor too was not wrong. He was correct. You need to put more money into people's hands, because let's look at it. If I put 100,000 into your hand, you go to the market to buy. Therefore, there's an incentive for the market woman, to go back to the farmers and buy. So the money is being turned around. And for His Excellency, it's still going the same way, but this time we are now moving from that straight direct. What do I call it? The pocket money directly from government. Now we are now going to take it to another level. Now we are now going to give you money to do business where you can. We are now going to put you back. Those who are farmers will put money into your hand to go back to the farm. The same money, but now in a different manner. The same food on the table. but in a different manner. Those of you can do contract, we will allocate contract to you. So it therefore means that the contract, government contract, will now have to reach out to us. We make money. Then all of us are still doing the same thing, the same food on the table. But it has moved from the conventional that we used to know to taking a different shape now. Same thing, because it is the duty of government to spend money in distress. Like we have a state of the economy that's in distress now. The greatest person that can revamp the economy now is the government.
Okay. All right, great. So sorry, we have just about some minutes to go. My producer has given me a signal already. Now, real quick for today, the low-hanging fruit, which would he quickly grab? I mean, His Excellency the Governor.
He has already started dealing with the low-hanging fruit. I mean, making sure that the roads are drivable. We have started seeing solar lights. We moved towards Lemna, and you see the solar lights, street lights coming up. We need more of this along Marian. So those are the low-hanging fruit that we are dealing with now. And then he must do more to talk to his people, because constantly the economy is bad. Everywhere is affecting both the state and the ordinary people. There must be that reassurance from you, the governor, as our father, going to give hope to your people. That under distress, we should not lose hope, because hope is on the way. Like he has said, his own mantra is people's first mantra. So that people is among his top agenda. So he must continue to give us hope, continue to talk to us as a father, and continue to make us not lose hope. So those are the things that I see.
Now let's look at the tomorrow of Cross River State. We were able to have a very good drive from Cross River State yesterday. Today, let's look at tomorrow. How do you see Cross River State tomorrow? Like
I said, the trajectory is smooth. We are not going to be static. We are not going to be static as a state. We're going to move forward as a state. We're going to migrate, move forward progressively. As I said, at the fullness of time, we'll catch up with other great economies like Lagos. I mean, we have, thank God for solid mineral now, which we have in abundance here. Once we can have the necessary instrument, the necessary institution to move in, then we can also begin to be like Port Harcourt, begin to drive what Port Harcourt is deriving from our solid mineral. And God has also given us that comparative advantage over farming, agriculture. Very few states will do better than us. So once we can aggregate all this together, the tomorrow of Cross River State is beautiful.
Then let's get your word to Cross Riverians watching us right now. How can they support this administration to ensure we have a beautiful tomorrow?
Like I said earlier, for those of us who go to church, pray for His Excellency. It's not an easy task. For those of us who are social critics, we will criticize objectively. We will continue to encourage him, because we know that the economy of today is not that easy. I think it's not the best of time for you to be a governor of the state. These are challenging times, these are challenging moments. It's only the man with the iron heart, the man with great determination, that can take us through the storm, because this is a stormy economic situation that we found ourselves. The social environment is very stormy. So it's only a man that is determined to take us through it that can take us. All we can do is to support His Excellency, pray for him, continue to give the good words, and continue to give the advice that is needed to push our state to the next level.
Thank you so very much, Honorable Edem Okoko-Enefio, Immediate Powers Commissioner, Rural Development. Thank you very much for your time on the show. And we will indeed have you back, and as we take a look at a few other discuss about the political space in Cross River State.
It will always be my pleasure.
So this is where we're bringing the show to an end. This is a way of saying thank you very much. We are back, and Weekend Politics is back on track now. For now, no more 7 p.m. but 4 p.m. every Sunday. Do well to join us next week Sunday, God willing. My name is Joseph Ian. Remember, next Sunday will be 1st October. It's going to be Independence Day, so we have a special package for Independence 63rd birthday of Nigeria. Let us see how we can, have very robust engagement next week Sunday. My name is Joseph Ian. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.